I wasn't born a hustler. I had to grow into that role, and it's more of a personality adjustment that I saw the need for in my life. Now, when I was growing up, I was raised in a very strict home. I was very submissive to my parents. Whatever they wanted, I gave them. I never rebelled. I did everything right. And mind you, we were in a very strict Christian home. So I didn't date or do anything until I was 20. Lost my virginity to my first husband, that kind of thing. Because it was such a strict environment, I kind of ran away from home at the first opportunity and married a sociopath. So I was a dumbass. I was definitely not a hustler. I was far from being a hustler. But marrying someone like that who was emotionally abusive and manipulative and narcissist to the T, on top of being schizophrenic, it changes you. It changed that weak person that I was, that weak little girl who just submitted to every authority that was in her life. It took 5 years of staying in that type of environment with my ex, but after 5 years, it had done so much damage to my psyche that I flipped a switch. And it wasn't a good switch. I flipped it and I was a girl I didn't recognize, but I had to do that in order to find myself. Fast forward, here we are approaching 8 years or so after that horrible mistake and the divorce. So yeah, 8 years later, I'm an entirely different woman. I'm a hustler. I look back and I wouldn't even have recognized that girl. But what did it take to become who I am? It took a lot of stupid mistakes. It took a lot of damage, mentally, physically. It took a lot of growth. But I'm here now, and there are some key things that I took away from that experience that made me a hustler. And a hustler, first and foremost, is a person that has a drive that's constant. Now, there's some down days. We're human. But a hustler is someone who's always looking for opportunity, not just always financial opportunity, but opportunities to make their life better. Not only for themselves, but those that are close around them, their loved ones. So that is a hustler in my opinion. Everyone might have a different definition of it. But how does a person become a hustler? Now, it's definitely not an easy thing. I think you are incapable of becoming a hustler unless you go through some trials and tribulations. But there are some key things you could do now instead of like welcoming some disaster in your life. I need a disaster so I can mature and grow up. Who wants that? So luckily, there are some key things that you can take away now and learn and apply to start the hustler lifestyle. My mother always had a phrase. She had a lot of phrases. But there was one phrase that just stuck with me, especially during my transition to a hard season many years ago when I divorced my first husband. The phrase that stuck out to me is fake it till you make it, Shaunna. Fake it till you make it. That was such a pivotal thing in my life when I realized what that actually meant. Is waking up each day and choosing to be the person you want to be. Yeah, that's construed as faking, but at the same time, it's more like a teaching moment for yourself. You're motivating yourself to be something you really want to be. That's not being fake, as some might think it is. It's training yourself, just like you have to study something and constantly memorize it. The same is applied to the actions that you take during the day that you choose to take that are, faking it. So I would wake up in the morning and I knew I was a weak, manipulated woman. I was a battered woman at that time. I was far from strong. But I wanted to be strong. I wanted to be strong for the first time in my life. So I woke up and I chose to think that I was strong. Okay, I'm waking up today and I'm a strong woman. I would tell myself that. I would look in the mirror and I would tell myself all these affirmations of things I knew I wasn't, but I wanted to be. So I would tell myself that I'm those things. And every day I would do it, even though I didn't feel like it, even though I would laugh and have some sarcastic tone to my voice when I would look at myself in the mirror and tell myself this. Some days I would have an attitude, but it was never a day where I didn't do it because I was determined. Now, determination comes from going through hardships. That I can't teach you. That has to come naturally. But the affirmations and choosing to fake it till you make it, that you could do any time of your life. And doing it consistently is key. A habit, they say, can be changed or formed or altered within 30 days. Some say 2 weeks, but I've heard 30 days. So doing this for 30 days straight, you will notice a massive change in your attitude, and you will start to be that thing that you're telling yourself every morning that you are. So faking it till you make it is legit. You fake it and then you actually become the very thing you were faking. The second thing is also something my mom would always say. My mom was an amazing woman. Unfortunately, she's no longer with us. But the second thing she would always tell me is, it's not all about you, Shaunna. There's other people in this same boat as you are. Now, we tend to forget that when we're going through stuff, or woe is me, or we're not strong, we're not hustlers, and we just want to mope around. We forget that there's so many other people that are just like us in the same situation, same down, out of luck bullshit. So it's not all about you. Remember that. Other people are having to hustle and go through everything that you're going through. Not perfectly, exactly to the T, but the majority will have others that can relate to them if you ask, if you look. There's always going to be someone else that are suffering as much as you, if not more. There's always going to be someone who's suffering more. But remembering it's not all about you and getting yourself off of yourself is another key factor to get you motivated to look outside of yourself. And that kind of gives you a different outlook in life. And that kind of enables you to see different things, opportunities that you might not have otherwise noticed if you were stuck on yourself and your woe is me, or thinking there's nothing I could do about this, and this is it for me, life sucks type attitude. That's the opposite of a hustler. That's a lazy, lack of motivation person, whatever you want to call that type of person. So remembering it's not all about you and getting it off of yourself really does help. The last thing I would say is, don't be afraid to get dirty. Physically, mentally, emotionally, don't be afraid. And you kind of have to enable and incorporate that don't be fearful into your daily morning affirmations with the first thing I mentioned. But it really is key. I was hustling in my bed at the hospital in the middle of labor, giving birth to my third child. I was making a deal with a client, literally on my phone while in labor. That's when I realized, damn, I'm a badass hustler. And thinking how far I've come in that moment while I was in labor, making a deal and a contract with a new client, it was such a powerful feeling. And it was amongst pain, amongst a very uncomfortable situation where I was making the best progress. So not being afraid of getting out of your comfort zone. And if you see something that really makes you uncomfortable, that right there should trigger you to jump out of it, to pursue the opposite of what your body's telling you not to pursue. Go for the opposite. Mentally, physically, jump ahead when your body and your mind is telling you not to. Typically, those moments are the make or break moments that actually jolt your life forward in a positive way. Now, there's that gut feeling that will help you determine, okay, is this really let's jump and it's positive, or let's stay put because my gut's telling me to. You're not an idiot, most likely, if you're watching this video and you're following me. Unless you're my stalker ex or his lovely family members. usually your gut will warn you of the obvious. Regardless, it is those times where you know you have to make a decision, an uncomfortable decision, where it's usually the right one. The best things in life don't come easy. You usually have to get out of your comfort zone. Same would apply for being a hustler. Now, those are just top 3 tips that I can give you. The rest honestly comes from hardships, hard seasons, and I believe we all go through seasons. We go through different seasons in life. Right now, I'm in a glorious season, but my life has been full of hard seasons that the one that I'm in is just so good, too good to be true. It's glorious, and I'm enjoying every moment of it. But what it took for me to get here with this feeling, with the success, with everything that I have, took a lot of pain, literal blood, sweat, and tears. That's a story for another day. But that's what makes you a hustler, is when you know the lack of it, when you felt the lack of a successful life, is when you know you're on the right direction. So good luck to all of you guys. Hang in there, that's the key. And honestly, fake it till you make it, because you will make it.